fall favorites here at BNN. And just like last year in the fall favorites, I made the drink Tears of Our Enemies, which if you didn't get to see it last year, you can find it on the VOD on bnnmedia.org or on our YouTube at BNN Media. So this year, I'm also gonna do a drink. This is not gonna be something I made off the top of my head, but it is something that I really enjoy having when I go to various Christmas and Thanksgiving parties. And it's very chill and relaxed. And it really, I don't know, gets me in the mood for the autumnal holiday. We are gonna be making mulled wine. So the very first thing you wanna do is get your crock pot, which I have here. I set it to high. We're gonna add our wine. And just like any recipe, there are tons of different ways to do this. I'm doing it in a way that I think is most easy and accessible for myself. So essentially that just means I'm using whole spices. I'm not gonna be using the hanged bag method, which is where you get cheesecloth and you put various spices in the cloth bag and you hang it inside of your crock pot. So for those who don't drink wine very often, your average size bottle, which is about a liter, I would say, of wine, is about 4 glasses. So we're also gonna be adding some brandy to it, just to give it a little bit of kick back up the alcohol content a little bit, because when you heat up alcohol, the alcohol evaporates from your spirit, which is why cooking wine already is low in ABV. So once you cook it, it really comes down to nothing at all. So we want to make sure that our mulled wine has a little bit of alcohol content. So at the end of this, we're going to have like a little bit over a liter worth of liquid after we're finished doing everything. So that's about 4 or 5 glasses of wine. So I've already added my lovely red wine. You can see I have my orange slices, I have my cinnamon sticks, I have my whole cloves, and oh no, almost dropped the honey. I have lovely honey and a brandy. I am not gonna name drop anything as far as red wine or brandy goes, because I'm not a particular fan of red wine or brandy. I really like cognac and I really like sparkling wines and champagne. So red wine isn't really up my alley, but I have never ever been disappointed with mulled wine. So as our crock pot is heating up, we're gonna just add our ingredients. So right off the bat, I guess I'm gonna add my brandy. So I got a small bottle because again, I'm not like a fan of brandy. I'm gonna eye pour this because that's how good home cooks do it. So we're gonna put about half of this bottle in there. So I'm just gonna, as the internet would want me to say, oh, we're just gonna put 2 teaspoons in here. Then I'm gonna grab my oranges, and I actually have my oranges sliced as wheels. So you're gonna add 2 oranges. However, I'm only adding the rind of 1 orange because I think rinds make it a little bitter. So I'm only gonna do rinds on 1 of my oranges. The other one, I peeled it by hand, and I'm just gonna add the wedges. Come on, the wedges. So on the holidays, like, it's not like my family tradition to have mulled wine or anything like that, but having it at parties, it really like warms you like in your core. And again, this is like for a party setting, so this is not going to get you inebriated or anything like that. This is just going to give you that nice warm feeling and maybe give you a tiny little buzz. We're going to grab our seasoning. So cinnamon, whole cinnamon is actually kind of expensive. And what is this? So 8 sticks come in this particular brand bottle. So I think I'm gonna drop about half of those in there because I want this to be very spicy. When you go online to look up recipes, I'm sure you'll see star anise in there as well. I'm not adding star anise because I don't like the flavor it adds. These are whole cloves I'm adding now, and whole cloves kind of look like little sticks with buds on the top. Speaking of holidays, like I already had these at home. I didn't need to buy these because my mother uses them to spice like ham and make a really lovely brown sugar cinnamon coating. I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of honey in here because we want it to be spicy and we want it to be a little bit sweet. So I get some of that last honey off of there. So you can also make this on the stove, but what's great about making this in a very lovely crock pot is that you can leave it and let it sit and it can be unattended and you won't burn the house down. So we're gonna let this sit. So I'm gonna grab the top, we're gonna cover this and we're just gonna let it sit. And what I love most about this is that also like the citrus scents and the cloves and the cinnamon are going to waft into the air and it's going to smell delicious. Ooh, that's perfect. So now your mulled wine has mulled for about an hour. You want to go, you want to do a taste test. You may want to add more honey. What I'm actually going to do is add a little bit of Grand Marnier just to make it a little bit sweeter because I know the people who are going to drink this like it sweet. So I added the basic recipe that I used. You know, I freestyled a little bit by adding Grand Marnier, and that is totally acceptable. You can find tons of different recipes online. Some use cranberries, some use peaches, some like to use that bag method I talked about. Whatever you like, you're making this to your taste to enjoy with your family and friends. I hope that you enjoyed this fall favorites. I've been Lee. This was my spiced mulled cider, and I hope you join me next year for fall favorites. See ya.